Lore of the Old World, Armies of Legends, Chapter 4, Lizardmen. From the jungle continent of Lustria, the Lizardmen look outwards and see a world gone awry. As the inheritors of the Old One's legacy, the Lizardmen see it as their sacred duty to fulfill the enigmatic plans of their long-lost masters, and any who stand in their way can expect no mercy. Heed the drums and the reptilian roars of the jungle, and join the gathering Lizardmen armies as they march forth for battle. First among the Old One's servants, the Slann are beings of incredible intellect and unparalleled magical ability. Although they are not physically menacing, the Slann wield magic so powerful they can topple cities, wash away their foes in torrents of flame, or even terraform the earth itself with a simple gesture. Even the mightiest wizards will find their most potent spells unraveled effortlessly by the Slann before being scorched, crushed, or otherwise laid low by the mage priest's own magic. From atop their floating palanquins, the Slann continue to enact the will of the Old Ones and work towards the completion of the great plan. The longer a saurus lives, the tougher and more ferocious it becomes. Their hardened scales grow as hard as iron, lethal protrusions sprout from their bodies, and their corded muscles become so powerful they can break rock with their bare hands. It is these experienced warriors who lead the Lizardmen in battle when the children of the Old Ones are marshalled for war. On occasion, a skink spawning will not produce a horde of the diminutive Lizardmen, but will instead birth just one, a rare occurrence that is said to mark the individual for greatness. Those who scurry forth that show any proficiency in the arcane will be trained as skink priests, assistants to the mighty Slann. Whilst they are unable to wield the world-bending arcana of their masters, the skink priest's mastery of magic is still akin to the wizards of the younger races. Those who don't display magical proficiency will become skink chieftains, cunning leaders who become responsible for marshalling war parties, organizing construction, and other such tasks to ensure the wheels of the great plan remain in motion. Cold Ones emerge from their subterranean lairs to prowl in packs across Lustria, sprinting through the jungle on their strong hind legs as they slash and bite at any prey within reach. Pterodons are dangerous predators who hunt with sharp talons and elongated beaks filled with needle-like teeth. Intruders to the jungle quickly learn to fear the ominous shadow of their wide wingspan, or to hear their shrill and piercing cries as they swoop overhead. Amongst the most aggressive creatures in Lustria, ripidactyls soar above the jungle canopy, constantly on the hunt for fresh prey. Although they are vicious killers, there is one foe that always drives these airborne reptiles into a mindless rage: the Lustrian bloat toad. Temple Guard are a prized and rare spawning of Saurus warrior. Created for the sole purpose of protecting the Slann and the temple cities in which they dwell, Temple Guard use heavy ornamental halberds to dispatch anything that might threaten their charges. These deadly warriors dedicate themselves to their task with every fibre of their being, displaying a single-minded determination that results in either the safeguarding of the Slann or their own deaths. It has been known for Temple Guard to stand sentry for centuries at a time, whilst the Slann meditates, remaining poised to neutralize any threat to the vulnerable mage priest even as dust gathers on their scaled hides. When the armies of the Lizardmen are called to war, it is the Saurus who make up the hardened core of their fighting forces, which should come as no surprise, for the Old Ones created the Saurus for this very purpose. Unarmed, Saurus are extremely dangerous, Their razor-sharp claws can gouge rock as easily as rend flesh, whilst a blow from their heavy tails can crush bone and crack armor. If that were not enough, their crocodilian jaws are filled with enormous teeth, capable of severing limbs and crushing steel. Skittish and swift, skinks are unique amongst the otherwise sluggish and physically intimidating lizardmen. These diminutive creatures were created by the Old Ones to perform many different roles, and without them, lizardmen society would quickly begin to collapse. With excellent physical and mental dexterity, skinks can slip through the jungle with ease, enabling them to outflank and surround the enemy with little risk of discovery. With their innate ability to mirror the patterns of their environment, chameleon skinks are the ultimate ambush warriors. Able to sneak within arm's length of the enemy, chameleon skinks will fire a hail of toxic blowpipe darts at their targets with incredible accuracy, before slinking undetected back into the jungle. Initially created by the Old Ones to aid with the construction of the great temple cities, Kroxigor are hulking muscular creatures with an enormous maw filled with dagger-like teeth. During times of war, these brutes are used as destructive shock troops as they set about enemy battle lines with huge clubs, each taller than a man and twice as heavy. When threatened by invaders, or when amassing a force to strike at far-off lands, a skink priest will call upon the jungle's smaller denizens to aid them in the coming battle, forming a writhing carpet of highly venomous snakes, spiders, and insects. Large, predatory animals that stalk the swamplands of Lustria, salamanders prepare themselves around with 4 thickly muscled legs and a powerful tail that allows them to swiftly maneuver on both land and in water. Salamanders hunt by sight and bring down their prey by launching a torrent of highly corrosive venom at their target. This venom is so volatile that it ignites upon contact with flesh, metal, or stone and burns their victim alive. Covered from nose to tail in great spines of hardened bone, razordons cast a most intimidating silhouette. As defensive protection goes, being covered in iron-hard spines is enough to put off most of Lustria's predators, but a razordon's spines are not just for protection. When angered, a razordon can discharge the spines from its body with powerful muscle spasms, showering any would-be assailants in a hail of deadly horns. Saurus warriors are already deadly fighters, but when mounted atop a charging Cold One, they become some of the most fearsome shock cavalry to ever set foot on the battlefield. Those who choose to hold against such a cavalry charge will quickly find themselves under attack from not only the snapping jaws and slashing talons of the Cold Ones, but also the keen thrusts of the Saurus long-bladed spears. Pterodon riders are fast-moving flyers who act as scouts and messengers during times of war, able to relocate at a moment's notice as they soar above the jungle canopy. When battle commences, it is not just the poison-tipped javelins or scorching fire-leech bolas that the enemy should watch for, as the pterodons are notorious for bombarding their prey with rocks as they swoop overhead, crushing armor and skulls alike. Foregoing the usual javelins and blowpipes, ripidactyl riders don ceremonial helmets and arm themselves with long spears and shields, a far better combination of armaments, given the ripidactyl's inclination towards tearing their prey to shreds with sword-like talons. For reasons unknown, the ripidactyl's favourite food is the Lustrian blot-toad, an odorous creature that drives the flying reptiles to be even more bloodthirsty than usual. Skinks, being the cunning creatures that they are, will hide blot-toads amongst important targets within the enemy's ranks, marking them for a particularly gruesome death as soon as a pack of ripidactyls catches the scent of their favourite prey. A carnosaur's roar is so greatly feared by the denizens of Lustria It will silence the surrounding jungle as it echoes through the trees, as beasts great and small run and hide in an effort to avoid becoming its next meal. Even stegodons are forced to huddle together and present a wall of pointed horns in the hopes of driving the carnosaur away. Once it has tasted blood, a carnosaur will enter a state of total bloodlust, biting and tearing at any living creature it can find. Carnosaur eggs are highly prized by the lizardmen, as the hatchlings can eventually be trained to accept a rider and act as mounts for the most venerated Saurus Oldbloods and Scar veterans. Stegodons are squat creatures of immense size and weight, whose huge heads are covered with crests thicker than any forged armour, out of which project enormous horns that skewer and stab at those foolish enough to stand in their path. Since the earliest days of their existence, the lizardmen have used stegodons to clear roadways through the jungle, drag huge blocks of masonry to build sites and other tasks suited to such a massive beast of burden. In war, they carry out devastating shock attacks as they trample and gore those in their path, as crews of skinks hurl javelins and shoot darts from the safety of large howdahs attached to the beast's back. As stegodons get older, they grow stronger and more resilient. The most revered of these venerable creatures are chosen to carry the archaic war machine known as the engine of the gods. Though the secrets of these ancient machines have been lost to time, when its thrumming runes are activated in a certain order, lances of light fly from the arcane device, sundering the enemies of the lizardmen. A walking fortress of armor plates, the Bastillodon is one of the most heavily armored creatures in Lustria. Covered in rock-hard leathery skin, even the Bastillodon's most vulnerable areas are all but impervious to most weapons, and the massive iron-like plates that cover its back and head can even thwart the bite of a carnosaur. When ridden to war by skinks, Bastillodons will bear the great weight of treasured weapons from deep within the bowels of the temple city's vaults, such as a blessed Ark of Sotek or the destructive might of a solar engine. As the Bastillodon pounds towards its enemies, the skink crew activate strange glyphs and rake the coals beneath. From out of the Ark of Sotek, sacred confines, pour forth an endless supply of serpents, eager to attack the nearest foe. When activated, a solar engine radiates invigorating rays that, when the attending skink crew intone the correct blessings to Chotek, coalesce into an intense beam of heat which burns the foe like the rays of the sun itself. Known as the Pale Death, Troglodons are dangerous, subterranean creatures that only emerge from their dens to hunt. Near blind, they rely upon a keen sense of smell and quill-like whiskers to track movement and hunt their prey, before delivering a powerful, venom-empowered bite. If that wasn't deadly enough, they can also spray the same venom in a powerful stream, bathing any would-be attackers in the caustic fluid. Whilst these twin-tailed beasts are near untamable to most, they will swiftly submit to skink oracles should the diminutive priest need the great beast's aid. Mounted atop a Troglodon, a skink oracle will travel the length and breadth of Lustria in search of the Old One's lost artifacts, in the hope of divining more of the great plan. The Old Ones were masters of the mystic arts, arcane engineers who could manipulate the very fabric of space and time with but a thought. They created a great many devices which they gifted to their subject races, so that their servants might wield a portion of the Old One's own powers in the pursuance of the great plan. When the great catastrophe struck, and the Old Ones departed the world, a large number of these devices were lost with them. The operation of the few artifacts that survive turned long ago from science to superstition. Indeed, so great has the loss of knowledge been, that it is believed that there still exist great repositories of magical devices that the Lizardmen have lost all knowledge of. The Slan Mage Priests are masters of magic, able to wield tremendous power with almost contemptuous ease. With this power they are able to alter the environment around them, and the fates of their loyal servants, summoning rains to wash away their foes, or calling upon the winds of magic to heal their champions.